What up? It's Dramos, and this is the recap. Of course, as I do each and every week, bring you some of the top headlines from this last week. Shout out to our girl, B. Marie, killing it as usual on mornings on LA TV via our IG Live, where each and every weekday she will give you the day's top headlines. And of course, as I do every week, I'll summarize some of the stories she covered, and I'll do it with a guest. And this week, I have an amazing guest. She is a singer-songwriter who goes by the name of YENDRY. So she'll be hopping on just a little bit, but before she does, I do want to get into a couple stories, speed through a couple stories that I kind of found super interesting from this last week and that a lot of people have been talking about. So, of course, surprise, surprise, Donald Trump is still, making the news. And, of course, as per usual, it's for all the wrong reasons. So he's been dubbed White House Karen by many people as he still refuses to concede to Joe Biden and admit that he was defeated in this presidential election. Now, multiple states have done recounts at this point, confirming Donald Trump, you, sir, are a loser, and Joe Biden, the winner. But Donald Trump, of course, is still fighting it. And if you needed any further confirmation that we're basically just like living in one huge Saturday Night Live skit, you had to have seen the press conference that Donald Trump's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, was having. And he was trying to convince us so hard of this alleged voter fraud that he literally had a meltdown. And I mean, literally, the man's face melted on national television right before our very eyes. Gross. Just not a good look, Rudy. I mean, I think if that wasn't like a sign from the powers that be above God, the universe, whatever you believe in, if that wasn't a sign that it's time to pack it up, guys, I think it's over. I don't know what else could be. And I wish that, we were able to just kind of laugh it off, but we still have a few months of this nonsense, and it's really getting kind of scary, especially as we get into this holiday season and it comes with COVID. I mean, Thanksgiving, less than a week away at this point. And many places, many states, many cities are putting orders in place, asking people not to have more than 10 people at their Thanksgiving dinners and to not travel for the holiday. Now, of course, this has caused quite a stir amongst Instagram civil rights activists. And of course, they are fighting the man the only way they know how, via memes. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of love the memes, as ridiculous as it is, but let's get real for a second here. The US is hitting record number of daily COVID cases, pushing 200,000 new cases. And again, that is just in one day. That is a daily total. That's scary stuff. We are literally entering into worse numbers than we were even at the start of this whole thing when we were all freaking out. And people are kind of pretending like it doesn't exist, which is probably the scariest part. So I think we have to keep in mind all that's happening. And instead of getting angry at the people who are trying to slow this thing down right now and really get these rates down and protect us, we just need to focus on anger in the right place. And that's at White House Karen, who really has been dropping the ball on this all year. That's the person we have to blame, guys. And if you don't like what's happening, again, that's who was responsible for this. So not much we could do. We just have to be safe and stop being stupid. Now, listen, I hate being all negative and surely there's got to be like some traditions that even COVID or Trump couldn't mess up, right? Well, there is one symbol of just like American greatness when it comes to the holiday season. Of course, that is the Rockefeller Center Christmas tree. That's something that, we all look forward to. It's a big national story when it gets delivered and everybody's excited to see the tree, right? But I got to remind you what year we are living in. And just when you're thinking to yourself, there's no way they could screw that up, right? 2020 said, hold my beer. And delivered to us the dustiest tree from the discount section, and sadly, probably the most accurate symbol and representation of what this year has been. I'm at a bit of a loss for words right now. It's almost too sad to be funny. Almost. I think at this point we just gotta find ways to laugh at it. And what a year. Only what, a month and a half left in this year, a little less. Just gotta just gotta stay strong and understand that nothing is normal and expect the unexpected. Now, hopefully, I can lighten the mood a little bit with my guest. So hopping on with me, my guest helped me break down some of the other biggest stories from this last week. She is a genre-bending singer-songwriter whose music is a multicultural blend of Caribbean influences and electronic sounds. Her latest single, El Diablo, is out everywhere right now. YENDRY, how we feeling?
Hi, how are you? Thank you for having me.
Of course, of course. How you doing? Where are you coming to us from today? Where you at?
I just actually I was shooting a video. I'm here in Dominican Republic in Santo Domingo. So I'm doing as much as I can. I came here to promote my new song El Diablo. I'm doing televisions, radios, you know, everything you can do, man. You know, you have to let people know your music and your story and your person. So I'm super happy to be here, honestly.
I love it. I love it. Listen, we'll get into the music and all that stuff. Before we do, I want to kind of talk about some like big news stories from this last week and get your opinion on them, if you don't mind. Okay, cool. So, I mean, let's kind of start. I want to start with J-Lo. So she, this last week was given the People's Icon Award, right? So by the People's Choice Award, which is huge, obviously, for a Latina to be recognized in a space that isn't just Latinas, right? It's a beautiful thing to see. For me, selfishly, I'm Puerto Rican. I have a lot of family from the Bronx. So I see, you know, a lot of myself in her story, you know. I'm curious for you, though. I mean, you're Dominican, but you grew up in Italy. What was it like for you? Like, who were your icons growing up that you kind of felt like you can look to for inspiration or that kind of, you know, represented you?
So I think J-Lo was one of them because when I was a kid, I remember I was watching MTV, you know? Yeah. And she was, every song she was doing was like a hit, a song that we used to listen to. And I used to watch her videos. And as well, I remember since I was a kid, I couldn't put her in a box, you know, because she was singing in English with this salsa rhythm as well. And her music, I think she was so ahead of her time. So I think she was one of them, of course, because I've seen this woman that looked to me like a diva, really powerful, but at the same time, she always have been doing everything for her community. So yeah, I feel like she's one of them. And also I think about not being in a box, you know, this is something really hard. If you have, if you were born in a place and you were raised in another one, it's super hard because you don't feel like you are part of that society. You feel like you have something different. As a teenager, I was not feeling comfortable with that. I was like, where do I belong to? I mean, what's wrong with me? And then growing up, going back to your roots and getting to know yourself, to accepting you're a mix of both cultures, takes you to accept yourself and realize this is a richness. So yeah, she was an inspiration, of course.
That's beautiful. So, I mean, let's talk about that a little bit. I mean, so you grew up in Italy. Is there a large Latin population over there? Were you one of the few people? Because it seems so random.
No, it's random, but there's a Latin community there. In the whole Italy. I grew up in the north, which was very different in terms of, you know, how people approach to each other. They are more cold, you know. So that's why at first I was, of course, what's going on, you know? But I mean, I love Italy as well. You know, I love, you know, the culture I grew up with. So I'm super grateful as well. For that.
I mean, I love that you said you kind of went back to your roots and kind of relearned that, because I kind of feel like for me, even here in the States and obviously places like New York, there is a large Latin population. But I would go to Puerto Rico and visit my cousins. They would call me a gringo. You know what I mean? Like, so I felt also like, where do I fit in? You know what I mean? Like, I love Puerto Rico. My dad was born and raised there, but at the same time, I'm looked upon as not Latin enough, not Puerto Rican enough because my Spanish isn't great. You know what I'm saying? So
I know, me too.
So it's So it's a weird.
We live in a limbo. We live in a limbo. In Italy, I'm not Italian. In Dominican, I'm not Dominican. I'm like, whoa, man.
Well, what was the inspiration? Because I think it's easy to maybe become angry and just kind of be like, you know what, you guys don't accept me for who I am, so I'm going to try and just be something else and forget about my roots kind of. So what was the inspiration for you that got you wanting to dive in and really get attached to it?
For me, it was a personal journey, you know.
Mm-hmm.
It was something I did for myself, not to be accepted by them. It was something I wanted to find out about myself, my character, my energy, because I realized a lot of people used to tell me, you have a different energy. You're like a ray of sun. I like to talk to everyone, and I'm super happy, you know, all the time. And I was like, where does it come from? And also the music was, I think, my way into it. The music helped me a lot to rediscover myself. And the first time, my mom used to tell me, why don't you sing in Spanish? You know, try it, give it a try. And I was like, no, Mom, you know, because all my family made me feel bad, you know, speaking English because Spanish, because I didn't speak Spanish properly.
Yeah, same here.
So I was shy. Yeah. And then the first time with my jazz band, I had a jazz band, and the first time with them, I sang a song called Mechita, which is a Peruvian traditional song, very old. And I got goosebumps, you know, my voice was different. I was like, this is something I need to dive in, you know, and this is something I need to work on, you know, let me see what's going on there. So it was more personal for me. And then I kind of realized coming down here that I'm accepted now, but you know, it's like they showing me a lot of love, and I'm super proud of it. I'm grateful.
No, that's beautiful. And I think it's also just an inspiration. Even this conversation, I'm sure there's gonna be so many people that relate to it, you know, and I also love your music blends that traditional sound, but also the newer stuff that you grew up on and were influenced by. And I just think that's a beautiful thing, because I think so often we're kind of trying to be put into a box, you know what I mean? Like, oh, you know, as a Latin artist, you do reggaeton, you do salsa, you do merengue, maybe, you know, bachata, if you're Dominican, you know, you have to fit into that box kind of thing, you know?
Yeah.
It's kind of beautiful to see our generation pushing against that and paying homage, but also saying that, you know, we're also different in a good way, and we're helping kind of expand the conversation, you know?
So that's amazing. I mean, I refuse to be put in a box. I refuse. But it's because of my personality, you know? Yeah. And I think it reflects in every aspect of my person, you know? It's musical. I have a really open-minded. I like to experiment a lot in the studio. I listen to all kind of music, and when I say all kind of music, you know, I'm not very into rock though, so this is something I need to study because I'm super curious. So I'm gonna start to study and you know, and listen more. But for the rest, I listen to everything because I'm super, you know, into music, all kind of music. I don't want to just be there. And even in fashion, I like to dress like a woman and dress like a man, and I don't know, but this
art is universal. You know what I mean? That's all art, and art doesn't really have a language. You know what I mean? It's a feeling. Exactly. I think that's what you're kind of talking about.
And I think I had it was a blessing, you know, to have two different cultures, to kind of I don't know, to have two different cultures in my life. And this is what I want young generations to realize. You know, this is a blessing. You don't have to feel like there's something wrong with you. Just take what you like from one and take what you like from the other one. And this is you anyway. So
that's beautiful. I love that. I mean, all right, so let's say on the topic of J-Lo, but also just influential women. I mean, J-Lo, Cardi B, amongst others, are also being honored at Billboard's 2020 Women in Music event. So kind of talk to me as a female artist, why things like this are so important to have nights that really solely focus on the female artists.
Because if it wasn't for them, I wouldn't know it is possible for me to have this job, you know? I wouldn't have the same strength that I have now on my project. You know, I'm investing everything in my project, like everything I have, time, sacrifice, you know, a lot of work, money, everything, you know, and I wouldn't do that if I thought it was not possible for me to get there. You know, sometimes these women give you the strength, and that's amazing. Also, I think for the women, the music industry has opened up a lot for them. Mm-hmm. It's like, I think in the future I hope we're gonna have more female producers, you know, female sound engineering, female. It's different, you know. Female managers, more female, and I'm not saying they are better than men. I'm just saying that, you know, we're looking for balance and equality. Right. That's all about it.
Yeah, and I think representation matters, you know.
That's it. And, you know, the fact that they've been winning awards, this give young women strength. It's super simple.
No, that's beautiful. I mean, all right, so we talked about the good stuff. Now, there also is a story that is kind of negative to a degree, depending on what you think about it. So as somebody in the music business, working in the music business, investing your time, your music, you just said how much it means to you. Scooter Braun and Taylor Swift have been going back and forth kind of. And he owned her master recordings, and then sold them now to somebody else without giving her the option of buying it, essentially, over, I guess, some personal feud. What do you think? Do you think that that's just part of the business, or do you think that there's something truly wrong with him doing that?
I don't think that's part of the business, honestly. I mean, and it's not because I'm taking the women part here, you know. If Taylor Swift was a man, it was going to be the same. You know, my thought on this was going to be the same. It's about loyalty and about how you approach, you know, to people in this industry as well. I don't know. I feel like me as a person, I would never do that, you know. So it's like, what's wrong with that? But I also think that it has to do with the fact that she is a woman. Because, as I told you, things are starting, but I still hear a lot of stories like this. You know? Taylor Swift has the opportunity and the fame to put it out, you know, and to let people know what's going on. There's a lot of female artists that are maybe, you know, less famous that have these stories, and it's incredible, you know, like producers taking, you know, keeping your tracks, or, you know, lawyers not, you know, supporting you enough, labels. But this is a lack of information from everyone. And also, I think there's not enough information for artists out there. Yeah. And now it's starting to get better. But before, I think there was not so much information, you know. And I just realized this. I just started this new career, and I just realized that contracts are so important. This is crazy, you know. But everything we do, the art, you have to protect it. And contracts are your tool to protect it. So, not good. Yeah. This is not just how business goes.
Right. I mean, that is a good point. And I think it is interesting. I think she's an interesting person because a lot of people love her. A lot of people don't like her. You know what I mean? But I think that is a good point. I think we probably have to explore a little bit is some of that hate she gets because she is an outspoken woman, you know, and we have to explore that possibility, you know.
You could like her music or not, you know, but you got to recognize the hard work. I always think like that, you know. If I don't like an artist, for example, I recognize his hard work, you know. If he's working hard and he's doing things properly, and what I really like is an artist that treats good people that work with them, you know. Yeah. So if you're doing this, I have to recognize it, you know. It doesn't matter if I like your music or not. But I think she's really famous, and, you know, the fame and the hate that you get, it's proportional, I think.
Right. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a good point. I think it could be business to a degree, but at the same time, he's going out of his way to make it personal, and that's where the problem lies. You know, I think you do have to have some morality in your business at the end of the day.
Yeah, and also sometimes, you know, we like to judge situations, but we don't really know what's going on. You know,
True.
it's like,
That's another good point.
We don't really know. I never like to talk about something that I don't really know deeply,
Right.
because, you know, you gotta listen to both parts and, you know, understand what's going on and the dynamic behind. It's crazy. You know, this business is crazy. So.
Yeah, let's talk about the positive side of business now. Let's move on from that. I mean, talk to me about what you've been working on. I mean, I've personally found you even before, like I got connected with your people. I don't even know where the hell I randomly discovered you. It was somewhere on Spotify, to be honest with you. I think it was Barrio. That's a song, right? And I was just like, whoa, this is like a mix of so many different things. It's like almost like these really traditional Latin sounds and like stringed instruments, but then it has like this trap drop to it. It was fascinating to me. I loved it. So, I mean, talk to me about like what you're working on now and kind of like what else we could expect, because I think you're doing such a great job of blending so many things together. It's exciting to hear.
I mean, I'm so happy to hear that as well, because it means, you know, the message is there.
Yeah.
And I think I'm working on new music.
Mm-hmm.
I'm always working on new music. As I told you, I'm down here to work on promotion for the new song. So it's been hard to be creative in these last weeks because I'm working a lot.
Of course.
But I think I'm gonna take my time to work on more music. I really want to experiment with Latin percussions. I really want to experiment on the salsa and electronic sounds. And I think, you know, as you said, you know, a Latin artist has to deal with the reggaeton box.
Yeah.
And it's cool. We can do reggaeton, but it's not only about that, you know. There's so much going on. We have salsa, we have bachata, merengue, we have tumbao, we have dembow, I mean, Latin America is big. We have enough to experiment and to play with. So I would love to experiment more in the studio. And yeah, I'm working on getting some footage, you know, and from my country and trying to keep and to get the energy from this island. This island is amazing. People here is amazing. And to me, it's like, I don't know, it's like an emotional journey to come back every time, because
of course.
When I used to come back, I just stayed, you know, in my grandma's house, and I have 13 uncles and 40 cousins.
That's a big family. Good
big family. So I usually stay in their homes, you know, and we eat, we drink together, and that's it. No, we play domino. Right, of course. We go out, watch movies, but this time is different. So I came to work, so it's kind of different. I'm having new experiences, and I'm trying to, you know, enjoy the life with them as well. Right. In the time that I have. That's good, man. I'm working a lot. I'm working on new music. I want to put out new music, and I want to get people to know me, you know, not only as an artist, but as a person. So. Yeah. So you're not in a rush to put out a bunch of music right now. You're kind of like, you kind of feel like you're still in an experimentation phase a little bit, it sounds like. Yeah, but you can experiment and make some music, you know, while you put out music. Of course. Absolutely. I love that. I mean, well, listen, I'm excited. I appreciate you for hopping on here. I love El Diablo. I love everything you've been putting out lately. I just think it's so different, and there's just something about it. I don't know. I can't describe it. But it's like smooth, but I don't know, aggressive at the same time. It's weird. Yeah, but it's like weird in the best way possible. You know what I mean? So it's amazing. I'm excited to hear what you work on, and listen, you know, anytime you got something coming out, you can hop on here and use my platform. I absolutely love what you're doing. Thank you so much. Of course. Thank you so much, Taino. I like you. Yes. Yeah, tú sabes. All right, take care. Bye. Man, big shout out to YENDRY. Just absolutely incredible energy. I really like her vibe. Make sure you go check out her track, El Diablo. It is streaming everywhere right now. She has some incredible music out there, so go give it a listen. And before I get out of here, of course, as I always do, I want to leave on some positivity, give you some positive energy for the rest of your weekend. And I do that in the form of a quote. And this week it comes to us from Jose de Diego. And the quote is, "Do as the bull in the face of adversity. Charge." Again. Do as the bull in the face of adversity, charge. And I just absolutely love that quote, because I really think it can be applied to what we're living through right now. Obviously,
this last year has been trying for so many different reasons, and there's been so much loss for many people. And it'd be easy for us to kind of just give up and to become angry and frustrated at the way things are and how they should be, and how much things have, had to change, and we really had no warning. But the reality is, if you fight against, the way things are right now, if you're fighting against this new world that we're living in, you're just going to lead yourself down a path of more failure and more disappointment. We have to see the adversity, see the challenges, see the difficult times that are laid out in front of us, and we just have to push through them. We just have to burst through them and figure out ways to, create and figure out ways to pull ourselves out of these situations. We can't allow these things to force us to stop what we're doing, to force us to pause, to force us to freeze in place. We really just need to push forward and challenge ourselves to really, really get out there and make things happen regardless of the obstacles that are getting thrown in our way. When, life gets tough and things aren't going your way, you just have to keep moving. That's all you really can do. Keep moving forward, and something will work out. Something will pan out for you. You just can't allow yourself to stop and freeze in place, or allow yourself to kind of curl up in a ball and just lay in a corner hoping things are gonna get better, because that's just not the way things are. You have to fight. And fighting means pushing on and pushing forward regardless of what the obstacles are that are out in front of you. So hopefully that kind of hopefully brings some people some good energy going, from this weekend into this next week and the holiday season. Now, with that said, thank you so much for tuning in. Of course, big shout out to our girl, B. Marie, who does mornings on LATV. Make sure you check her out Monday through Thursday, every morning, giving you the day's top headlines. And then, of course, each and every Saturday, I will be here to break it all down for you with a guest, giving each and every one of our hot takes on things. So until then, have an amazing Thanksgiving. Remember, make the best of everything that's happening right now. There's not much that's in our control, so just make the best of it. And I'll talk to you next time. Bye.